Let's store the app version and compilation date in each task and settings file. And for this, let's make sure that we use our project info version number and not the project info version string. So let's do this in TaskQueue container.cpp. And we're going to do this down where our settings tree is created, this thing right here. Let's do this in between where we created and set it to disk. So first thing we have to do is create a property. So let's go to our identifiers and do that. So down here in our identifiers, we'll do that here. Declare ID app version, and then declare ID compilation date. All right, now we can use those here. Settings.set property, and we want to, let's set the app version first. Identifiers, app version, and we'll do, let's see, string, and we'll pass it project info, and we want the version number. Okay. Put this all on separate lines, and we'll do the same thing again for the compilation date. Settings dot set property. We want identifiers compilation date. Now for this, we're going to use the time class's member function. Actually, it's a static function. Time get compilation date returns a time based on the value of the date macro when this module was compiled. So that's awesome. We use that, and then we'll just convert it to ISO. Include those separators and null pointer. And we need to do the same thing in. We need to also do this whenever we create a new tree via the new button. So we can just grab this stuff right here. Since we're duplicating it, it's clear that we need to refactor this at some point. Where's our new button? Okay, new button. Okay. Auto new tree equals create result. All right, so we need to put it in our new tree. New tree.set property, new tree.set property. Okay. And let's add a to-do list item over here in our main component. So that we remember to check whenever we load a settings file or a task file if the version number is greater than or equal to our current app version. So we'll add that right here. Check task settings file. Whoops, let me spell that right. Check task or settings file version when loading to make sure it's compatible. All right, I'm not going to be implementing what to do if the task or the settings file version is outdated, but we will at least have some checks in place for it. So let's delete the settings in the task file again and rerun so that they're created from scratch. And we'll look at what we just added to the XML. All right, get rid of you, and get rid of you, and rerun. Might hit some jasserts. All right, just push play until it shows up. Okay, and quit. And now check out our XML. So let's look at this. Open with Visual Studio Code. All right, so here's our compilation date, which is cool. And our app version is just a plain old integer, which means it's a lot easier to compare against versus if we used some string, which is what the other, if we hadn't used, where did this go? If we didn't use version number, if we did version string, then the resulting XML would have been, this would have been a lot harder to deal with and comparing if the stored version in the file is new enough for our program or if it was outdated or not. Let's take a look at our default.task as well, because that should be here too. All right, here's our date created. So we don't have a compilation date on this guy. Did we forget to do that? I think we did. So where's our create default? Create default tree. Yeah, I think we need to put it in here somewhere. Probably for this guy. Yes, it seems I did forget to put this here. All right, so let's just go down here, go down here, copy this. Oops. Copy these lines and just add them right after our default task and just change the tree that's having its property set. All right, and one more time we will run and delete. Let's delete our default task. and run it again. And we should see the app version and version number in the default task. We should get some JAsserts as well that the file doesn't exist. Oh, okay, so that's a problem. Whoops. All right, so we need to delete this from here, that the current file is that. So delete that, save, and rerun. Okay, now we can, let's just switch to Visual Studio Code and take a look. All right, cool. So now we have our app version in here along with our compilation date. So that's good. So the compilation date is really good to keep because you can, if somebody's using your product and they're like, hey, my thing is broken, I'm not sure why I can't load this file. You can ask them to send you the file, and then you can see if the compilation date is up, if it's caught up with like whatever version you actually released. So it's useful to have that information stored in the file itself. Okay, cool. All right, let's do the smart thing since we've got our create default task calling this set property version number, set property compilation date. That's happening there, that's happening here. And then that's also happening in our new button. Yeah, in the new button, we're also doing that there. So let's refactor that. Let's go to, let's go to utilities. Let's go down to utilities, go down to the bottom. We'll stick this after our length calculator. Void add app info to tree, value tree reference tree that we want to change. We'll just declare it like that. And then in our implementation, it's going to be super simple. Let's just go back here. Let's just grab these guys, copy this, and just paste it down at the bottom. Let's wrap it in a thing. We don't need to show our identifiers anymore. Okay, so we'll just add this here. Void add app info to tree, value tree reference tree, and just paste it there. And now just change this to say new tree. That's it. Super simple. All right, now we just need to make our changes here. So let's do that here. Add app info to tree, and we're going to do it to new tree. Let's see, where was the other spot? It was when we loaded our default task. So we'll do that here. Add app info to tree default task. And then there's one more down here. Add app info to tree. Settings. Okay. Let's test it out by creating a new task file. Run this guy, press new. Test. Okay. Oh, what happened here? Save tree to disk if is not. Why did that do that? All right, it created it. What about our guy? Okay, it's there. All right, so we're just here to inspect this. Okay, great. So this has our app version and our compilation date. So that's fantastic. And actually, we can get rid of this JAssert, and let's get rid of this reveal to user. And let's delete that file that we just created and run this one more time. Delete that test. Let's run this again. Oh, it's trying to load that file. Okay, so do new. This is fine. Do test. There we go. So it still showed it. That was there's a reveal to user that we have somewhere that we got to get rid of. Let's find that right now, actually. Find reveal to user. Where's that? Main.reveal to user. That's fine. It's this one. Result.reveal to user. Oh, and that's in our new button on click, so we can get rid of that. Okay, great. So this should be good to go.